Hey, good morning, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And I promised last week that I would bring you a hump day message, right? This is after the coffee. And we were talking about organizational culture. And again, it's still big. I still see it showing up in like Inc. magazine and Fortune and all these other business magazines about how important culture is. But from a leadership standpoint, we need to understand that organizational culture, it's a leadership challenge. It really is. It challenges us as leaders because we are constantly in the spotlight. We are the individual that people watch carefully all day long while we're working with them, whether we're in the office or virtual. They key into very subtle messages or sometimes draw conclusions that may be not even accurate. But that is the burden that we carry as leaders in an organization. Leadership isn't easy and it's not for everyone, but it's always worthwhile. So, whether we're an informal leader, let's say we lead a team in our department, or we're a contributor, but we have a great deal of knowledge and experience, and we hopefully share that, right? So, culture, again, is really a reflection of those who people perceive as leaders. Now, notice I said perceive, because that doesn't mean that you have to be a formal leader. You don't have to be the CEO of a company. You don't have to be a supervisor. You can just be a person of influence because of your, not just your experience and expertise. That's not it, really. What it is who you are as a person. If you are open and approachable and non-judgmental, and you have interactions with people and genuinely listen because you're interested in what they have to say. Don't fake it. People can tell when you fake it. Oh yeah, I'm interested. Go ahead and tell me. And you're on your laptop doing your thing. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening. That's not good. That's not good. When people feel heard, we turn away from our work. We make eye contact with them and we smile. And as they share, we might have questions to ask. Well, how would that work? Well, that sounds interesting. We've never done it like that before. That's what builds the culture. It's the small things, the small, as Stephen Covey would say, the small emotional deposits that we put into people. And we become interested. Initially off the bat, we're like, oh boy, I know what this person's going to say, or da 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 da. We've got that little parrot in our head that says, well, I don't believe that, or no, this person must be out of their mind. We listen with the intent to understand. And when we open our mind up to those things, it creates ideas within our own mind. We're like, wait a second. This may sound a little different than what we normally do, but that's what we need. We need something different than the way we've always done it. We've got to be careful not to continue to support conventional thinking. If we want to change the culture of the organization, the key word in that is change. And I know change is scary a little bit. We have fear around the unknown, but you know what? We're surrounded by a team of people. And we can say, hey, what do you guys think about this? How might you do this? Let's talk about the benefit of this versus the way we've always done it before, which can be a trap because it's a comfort zone that if we don't leave, we don't grow. It's as simple as that. And in doing those things, we create a culture within our organization of continuous learning and growth. Because, if you're thirsty, you get a drink. If you're hungry, you get something to eat. But when you want to grow, you start to learn. You look for new ways of doing things. I mean, we've invested the last 2 years studying neuroscience because we wanted to go deeper than the typical, knowledge. We need to understand. We need to have the user manual of how this thing between our ears works. And the more we learn about that, the more we begin to understand about human behavior, our own behavior. And when we learn about our own behavior, we can learn how to, you know, grasp what is good and leave behind those things that are no longer serving us. We're allowed to go beyond the emotion of the limbic brain and start moving into the neocortex, the decision making, the critical thinking areas. Now, don't get me wrong, the limbic brain is important, especially in relationships. The limbic brain allows us to be more empathetic to others. And one of the biggest challenges for me, at least in the beginning, was patience. I had people, that just didn't get a grasp for the work that they were doing. They were struggling. And if I was impatient, well, HR would have been a revolving door. But when I could see a kernel of something good in this individual, something that merely just needs nurturing to grow, that's the perspective you start to take on as a leader. And you learn to grow your people. Look, 8 team members may not be in your organization, and those that you want to hire may be, well, out of budget, out of reach. So your alternative is to grow the people you have, create that field of dreams by growing people. And when you become a learning organization, that becomes culture. When people know that you don't shoot the messenger, they come to you. You become approachable to them. And you know what? Don't be aware of don't fear the evil you know. Fear the evil you don't know. And the evil you don't know are in the heads of those around you. And if you're approachable, they'll make you aware and you can do something about it. But if you shoot the messenger, no one will give you that information. And then there's a problem, right? Then there's a problem. So being approachable is a part of the organizational culture. And then other people, they think, oh, it's okay to share our thoughts, even if they're not, positive. I don't look at, and I tell people this, you've got to communicate with your people and say, look, I don't look at when you have a different opinion than mine. I don't look at that as negative. I want to know. I want to know, look, this business was not built by me alone. I needed people to help build this organization. And if, like my friend that I was talking about last week, being new to the organization, I said, look, you need to go out in front of people and share with them your philosophy, share with them your belief, share with them that you're approachable, share with them basically that they can trust you. Don't expect it to change immediately, right? They've been conditioned in an organization or an environment of fear for a very long time. You're going to have to ante up a lot before someone is willing to take the risk and say, I see it differently. And in the episode that I talked about conflict being not resistance breeds resistance because we get nowhere that way, but conflict being a conversation, an exploration of, well, how do you see it? Tell me, I want to know, I want to understand. And not to say that in an intimidating way. I want to know how you see it, right? How will people respond? They'll shut down. They'll tell you lies. The emperor has new clothes. When we know that the emperor in those cases is very naked, their people can see right through them. So I want you to think about that for the remainder of the week. And I hope your week is moving with good momentum. If it's not, do something to recover. I've got a Monday morning cup of Joe coming up that I'm going to be talking about that. So keep an eye out. That's why I didn't want to disclose anything. But anyway, bear that in mind. Be the person you want to see your people be. It's kind of a Mahatma Gandhi kind of a slant on things. But anyway, we are moving toward the weekend. It's hump day, and it's going to be a good week. Go out and do good. I look forward to seeing you on Monday morning for our Cup of Joe.